This time to introduce our esteemed governor. I've had the privilege of working with Governor Manchin as president of Marshall University since 2005. Rarely do you find a governor who is the kind of leader that we're blessed to have here in West Virginia. Governor Manchin is a person who sees problems and seeks solutions by bringing people together to find the best way, the most efficient way, and the best fit way, if you will, for solving the problems of today and into tomorrow on behalf of the state of West Virginia and also our great nation. It has been truly an honor and a privilege to work with him in various capacities. As you see around the state, the challenges that we have here in West Virginia, the one that's most recent that is being addressed in the legislature under his leadership concerns K-12 education and the need for reform, the need for change. It would have been very easy for him to have stepped back and said, well, this is too hard a problem to take on, but he did not shy away from what is truly a tremendous challenge, but also a tremendous opportunity for this great state. He understands the people of West Virginia very deeply, and his caring and compassion is evident on a daily basis, and I've had the privilege of both experiencing that and also observing the way in which he has truly led this state and will continue to lead this state and take us forward. It is my great honor to introduce Governor of the great state of West Virginia, Joe Manchin.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Steve, for the kind introduction. I appreciate being with you all this morning. I want to thank Matt, who is our communications director, is now chief of staff for President Kopp, and appreciate all of his efforts to make this happen. To the GIS Policy Council, to the chair, Kelly goes. Kelly gives her regrets. She's down at a Southern Growth Policy meeting this morning. I spoke to her this morning. I also spoke to Senator Bob Plymouth. He's heading up an education meeting this morning and trying to get all sides together to move West Virginia forward and put us in a better position to compete, not just nationally, but globally. To Jenny Starcher, to the association, to all of you, and Tony, and I appreciate all of the work that you all have done to bring this conference together, and to the West Virginia Geospatial professionals and all the partners here. I thank you all for coming together. Henry Ford once said, coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, and working together is success. And I think what we're trying to do in the state, and as you know, we're looking at different ways to bring all this about, is looking at how do we best move forward. For us to make informed decisions and timely decisions, we have to have real-time data. And it has to be housed somewhere where we can get our hands on it, because things happen, especially during sessions. It moves at warp speed. We spend more time for agencies trying to gather information to report to the legislature than anything else we do during the 60 days or more, or special sessions when we have it. As you know, GIS has been used since the 1980s, and state agencies began using it for land inventory, natural resources, and so on. I spoke again earlier this morning. I spoke yesterday. We have a well fire, as you know, up in Moundsville, Marshall County. We're working on that, trying to find out what happened. You know, also where the investigators are in, looking at the Upper Big Branch, what could have happened there. Reported to me yesterday that the seals are in place, so if the seals are in place, the gob gas couldn't have been the problem. It has to be some other source of fuel. All of these things play into what we need in order to make informed decisions, but also to prevent these tragedies. So we're working very close on that and watching it very close. The Policy Council, as you know, we formed that, and Kelly heading that up for us, oversees the development and implementation of the GIS program. We applaud those efforts. It's comprised of executive leaders, state departments, local government, and GIS professional community. All of you all play a role in this, and I think an important role. We need your input to direct us in how we can better make this. for the citizens of our state and the decisions we make. My office is currently reviewing the executive order that we put out to better coordinate GIS services. Is there a better way to do this? Is there a way that we can be in more assistance to you? Is there a way that we can all work together? The thing you have to really be concerned about and be cautious about is everybody, no matter where the services and whatever data you have and may have, the ownership situation and protecting turf. The bottom line is there's more than enough work for all of us, and there's more information that we all can share if it's gathered accurately and made available. That's what we're looking for. Also in education, I know that Steve mentioned on how important we believe that GIS technology can be for just an educational tool. It's part of a national effort to expand our local social studies, science, technology, and engineering and mathematics education in the 21st century way of learning. Right now, you've heard that we're in a special session, or going back into a special session on education. Let me tell you where we're coming from on that, so you might have a better idea of what's driving this. There are things that I don't agree with on a national level from this administration, and we have really open dialogue about that, and I appreciate the President's willingness to sit down and talk, and he and I have had many conversations on whether it's environment, whether it's cap and trade, whether it's how we move forward, and how do we stay economically strong but yet environmentally responsible for our actions, and doing all this in a more progressive movement. We've had those talks, and we have agreed to disagree on some of our positions. What I do agree wholeheartedly is his position on education. And let me tell you the facts that they're dealing with. As a nation, there's only two developed nations in the world, that if you're 25 years of age or older, you have attained more education than anyone younger than you coming through the system. That's never happened before in the United States of America, and we're one of those nations. Germany is the other. That's alarming from this fact, that we will not be a superpower if this trend continues in 2040 or 2050, as early as that. The generation behind us will be the first generation less educated than us. And so that was the alarm that had gone off, and the President said we must do something. As a nation, we rank in the bottom third of all the developed nations in education attainment. We don't rank first in any category. 40 years ago, we were first in every category. So as we see ourselves slipping, generation, decade, somebody's got to say enough is enough. We got to take a real good look at what we're doing and how we're educating, how we're educating educators, how we're bringing people into the field, how we're holding people accountable and responsible, and taking away this protection mentality. Now, some people say, oh, wait a minute, that's very uncomfortable. You're taking away seniority, you're taking away all my benefits. None of that. No seniority, no benefits. But we want, based on the results as much as we do the protection. Somebody, in your real life, everybody has to be productive, and you're going to be based on that. And you're going to either be promoted, demoted, and you're going to have gains or losses depending on how you perform. The whole world. I tell people all the time, I said, I didn't create the market, whatever it may be, and we all compete in the market. But as a West Virginian, I believe that we can compete at any level. I believe that we can succeed beyond our wildest dreams. And we've proven that economically we can get our house back in order, and we've done that. We're one of the few states, I know you've read, that financially we're still holding our own. If not holding our own, we're doing better than about 44 other states in the nation. And who would have ever thought during hard economic times this little state would be one they look to live within your means. We made a conscientious decision that we would live within our means and get our financial house in order when I first took office. And I've always believed, and I believe to this day, and I'll firmly believe until the day I leave this earth, that if you don't keep yourself financially strong, you're not able to help anybody. And my grandfather used to use this, and my father and grandfather and my grandparents and all my parents, and they always had ways to explain to us as children that we could understand. I'll never forget, my grandfather always said,